Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with. Welcome to the show. It is a gloomy and chilly night here in southeastern Michigan. It was beautiful yesterday, and then last night we got some thunder boomers come rolling on in, and then today it decided to stay cold and gloomy. And it is. Um, so the guest tonight may look familiar to you. You might have said, "Didn't we see this young lady on just a minute ago?" And I would say yes. And we had a wonderful show with her, and so much so that we talked about her books pretty much for the whole show. She is a writer. She has had 2 books published, but during that interview, we did not talk about her acting career. And so I said, you know what? I'd like to hear about that. So I asked her if she'd be willing to come back and hang out with us. And she was kind enough to do so. So I'm very happy to have Mindy Dougherty back tonight. Yesterday we had a lot of fun with Gary Hill, horror host, director, producer, and yeah, it was a really good conversation too. In fact, I'll be posting up the review of his movie called The Others, Doom from the Stars, which is a science fiction anthology film. And I reviewed it, and my review will be going up a little later tonight. And I really appreciated the earnestness, and I thought I worked well for the format worked well. It worked well for him. I don't always think that does work well. And I'm talking about is when you have a low budget, and what you do is you can't afford to bring everybody that you want to cast. You can't bring them to the location; they don't have the money. So what you do is you go ahead and you ask them to film a segment, um, 3 to 5 minutes long. Here's the topic: the end of the world. Okay, so the actor basically does a almost like a self audition tape. It's 3 to 5 minutes long. He's got to shoot it. He's got to edit it, and then send it in to the director. And then the director, his chore is to take all the pieces that he got together and then edit them so it makes sense. It's not first come, first serve. You have to watch every single segment and then try to get the rhythm, which I think is probably pretty difficult to do. You got like 18 to 22 segments, and you're trying to match them up so it flows well. And so I thought I thought he did a very good job with it. It's a good format for like a young director just getting into it. A director with, like I said, not very much money. I think it's a great concept, um, but don't get caught up in that segment too often, because that does, the first couple of times, yeah. But if you keep doing that, like I have seen some films, that's what they tend to do. They tend to do that. Yeah, that's not a good look. It's good for a couple of times, but after that, no, don't. If you can't help it. Um, so I was really impressed with it, and I had a lot of fun with the movie. Um, Gary did well. Not only did he do well as the director, but quite honestly, he stole his own film. I'm not kidding you. He stole his own film. He plays a character named Dex, and Dex is like the most interesting cat in the whole movie. I was like, I like to see that. I wonder what he's all about. He's got a hell of a backstory. Um, hey, all right. Just John Henderson from Doomsday Crypt rolls in. Yes, we will be having the Doomsday Army, the Doomsday Crypt Army, roll in on the 27th. We have John. John's going to be here with us. We have actor Danny Hassel from the Nightmare on Elm Street series, 4 and 5 franchise. He'll be here with us, and then visual special effects master Joe Castro will be here with us on the 27th. Yeah, we are going out. We're next on the last week of May is going out with a bang, because we have Will Colazzo Jr. on the 25th. and then we have John and Joe and Danny on the 27th. That's quite a way to end the month, as far as I'm concerned. We're already starting to work on June. Looks like we're going to have Owen Llewellyn back. We were cursed. We were cursed with tech problems, so we're going to go ahead and have him come back. And we got some other things cooking in the pot as well. I'll be talking to hopefully some other guests to come on here that will be quite interesting. I sent out some invitations, and we'll see about that. Uh, yeah, yeah, Gary was yeah, Gary he's very nice. I really liked him a lot, and I appreciate his time, and we talked all things. We talked all things uh, horror host, and so happy to see that that medium has not disappeared. It's still with us. People are still doing horror hosts. A lot of times they're doing them here on YouTube, which is fine. I'm down with that. Uh, and because we don't have the independent TV stations that we used to have, so the old timey guests. I mean, like I think Swinguli the only one left nationally. Nationally, I mean, Swinguli, you can see him anywhere. Um, but but there are some other regional hosts, horror hosts. I think in Cleveland they have one. I'm sure they have one in Los Angeles. I'm sure. Of course, it's just no longer. It used to be every independent station used to have a horror host. Um, they would hire them, and they come in, and then they play the low budget movies and what have you. But as it has gone on, like I said, only Swinguli is pretty much the last national horror host. But doesn't mean that it's all over. I know Dr. Gangrene is still working. He put out an awesome. If you want to see something really fun, look up Dr. Gangrene's YouTube channel, and then watch his series on Vincent Price. That was made with a lot of love and time, and I watched the whole thing. I sat in my couch and turned and got a snack, and I watched the whole thing. It was so good. He went through every movie that Vincent Price ever did, and some of the TV things. I learned a whole lot. I didn't even know half the stuff I didn't even know about Vincent Price. Speaking of superstars, Jamie is here. Jamie Hill, from Canada. Says Jamie, aka me. That's right. I hear they made I'm Haunted 5. Um, so that's the series that Jamie's been involved in with. I was going to ask you, Jamie, if you're also in I'm Haunted 5 as well. Um, I'm Haunted is a tremendously fun series. It's found footage, um, and it stars Elizabeth Chamberlain as Genesis Brady, and I'm still glad we have I'm glad we have Genesis. I'm glad just a little. Okay, well, I'm just glad you're in it. That's cool as hell. Um, and I'm just glad we still have Elizabeth here, because I really expect her to take off soon. I think she has that quality about her to become a big star. So, um, Steve, let's see, get Steve Merlo. Man, I have not seen Steve in a long time. Is he? Yeah, I would if I didn't know he was still around. That's awesome. I talked to Steve. I like talking to Steve. He's a good cat. Let's see. Anthony says I'm going to see Nightmare Christy Adams' new movie. Oh, you're in. Okay, well that's there you go. Well, why don't you okay, I'll go ahead and I'll hunt for Steve and see if we can get him to come on. And see if we can get you in too, Jamie. Oh, okay. I can do that. I'm going to be looking at Phil Herman's movie after this interview. I'm going to be watching Phil Herman's movie. He sent me a screener for his new movie. So I'm going to take a look at that. Uh, yeah, I got a ton of people. All of a sudden, my mailbox, I got three different movies coming my way. I mean, before I had a drought, and next thing you know, it's like I looked at my mail, and it's like, hey, can you cover my movie? Can you know? I'm like, yeah. Can you come on and do an interview about it? So hopefully, our Mark from Shimmerhorn Productions, hopefully we'll get him on the show in June as well. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Have John? Have you ever had Jamie on your podcast? You have to. Jamie's a sweetheart, so supportive of other creators, you know, and it's so cool. All right, that's what I like hearing right there. Yeah, I have to go. I'll have to try to. I'll have to try to crash that party. Oh my gosh, you will have a Jamie is a great guest. She's a great guest. And I know yeah, I mentioned the I'm Haunted, but Jamie also was in one of my favorite IFC midnight films, Skinamarink. So yeah, but I was so happy to see that I'm Haunted 5 is coming out. Um, I don't know if that I said this before. I don't know if this is this franchise that Brandon was expecting. I know they made Masquerade, and uh, I think that's gotten 3 movies. But I'm Haunted has been so successful, and people really like it so much that they're already on the 5th film of this franchise, and it's a lot of fun. Um, they have the edited version, and then they have the full length version. And like the first I'm Haunted, I think he made like it started out as it was web episodes. It was like 5 minutes long, 6 minutes long, and he put them all together and he made a feature film out of it, which was very good. I sort of like the webisodes because they're longer, and and Elizabeth is such a natural comedian too. She's a hoot. She's a hoot. Yeah, let's team. Yeah, let's do that. I want to team up on that. Let me see. I think I want to make sure that our guests can get in here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So yeah, we're gonna have fun here in a couple of minutes with Mindy Dougherty. She has a nice she has a nice body of work. She's worked with Brendan Slagle. She's worked with some really good actors. Robert Lasardo. She's done a film with Robert Lasardo and Sarah French and Michael Pere, which is that's a big favorite of ours right there. Um, and so yeah, I mean, she's going to be doing a brand new film. She's getting ready to do release a brand new film, the Pizza Dead Man. She's also doing Clown Motel, Three Ways to Hell, and then she's going the movie that we all want to see her in. We also want to see her in The Killer Pizza Man. Well, that is directed by Will Colazzo. Ta-da!
Like magic.
I know, and we're back. I know, right? I mean that. I mean, Mindy's got. She's got to work with some really fun people. Um,
I have
John from
actually.
yes, you've gotten to work with some, and they've gotten to share screen time with you and you with them. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So I'm trying to figure out, you have this on YouTube where you can see the questions. Where do I go
Yeah,
for that?
um, what's on your screen?
Just you and I. But
Oh,
there's like
okay.
it says studio chat, but it doesn't have any unless I'm supposed to go to the comments.
Yeah, go to
Ah,
comment. Yeah.
never mind. Because I was gonna try to see if I could see it on the phone because you were like any of the questions, and I'm like, dang, it would have been so nice last time just to see the questions so I can answer it, but I got
Um,
it.
I'm glad you're back.
Thanks.
Last time you were here, we talked books and mental
Yes.
health and writing, and it was tremendously. It was actually one of my very favorite shows. I really enjoyed it quite a bit, and we just kept on going, and it was a lot of fun.
Hey,
But,
thank you. But we talked
but
nothing about films except for like
we talked
I
nothing
told Will
about.
that. I was like, "So you might hear down the grapevine that it just so happened that we didn't talk about your movie." I said, "Well, I mentioned it, I think twice, but I
Yeah.
didn't talk."
Yeah, we did try to do some fan service. We did try to mention it twice so the fans have something to go, all right. But this time we're yeah. Yeah, I noticed I didn't get any email back from Will, like, but I'm sure I'll hear from him on the 25th.
Well, I had told him, I warned him ahead of time. Hi, Jamie, or hi everybody who's here. Thank you so much for showing up. Um, yeah, he's filming right now, Clown in a Cabin or Clown in the for the next week. I think till next week, with Santiago Cirillo and can't wait. That is the person that I'm going to be in a scene with, and Nicole for I keep talking about Bridge of the Doom, but this one's the Killer Pizza Man,
Killer
which
Pizza
I'm kind of
Man.
excited about. I don't know what the role is yet. It hasn't been written, so I it's going to be interesting. Whatever it is, I told him, I said I just want to be able to play, and I want to like go outside of any of the characters that I've done before. So
I think it's
I
safe to
haven't
say I
acted
think
like a
it
nut job yet, and I kind of want
I,
to. I haven't been
I
a
think it,
serial killer. Kind of want to do that too. I
well,
haven't
I
had a
don't know
love
if you,
scene.
I
Would
don't know
love
if you
to
could
do
be a
like a
serial
love
killer in
scene
this
and a
movie though.
killer scene at some point.
I don't think you could be a serial killer in this movie though, because it's a pizza killer. So you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I mean, you have a bowl of cereal here and you have a slice of pizza here. I think it's the slice of pizza that. But wouldn't it be cool to use pizza as a killing weapon? Like you take the
it
large pizza
depends. I
off.
don't even know how he's gonna. I have no idea how he's gonna write it. All I
I,
know is if there's pizza on set, I'm eating it. She
well,
swallowed him
could,
whole. Now we have
yeah,
no
could you,
film.
could you imagine? Could you imagine? We'll pop it up on like you buy the movie, and then you put it in your player, and then this Will Colossal pops up there and goes, "Well, folks, we were going to have a movie. Welcome to the Killer Pizza Man DVD. Unfortunately, one of the stars of the movie ate our star pizza, and that's the end of the movie. Thanks. We'll see you for the next one."
Right.
I can, yeah. Uh,
Well, and I
yeah.
know, let's see, gosh, who else was I thinking of? There's a couple people who wanted to be in the scenes with me, which is like for me, it's very humbling. It's very nice. So I'll be meeting them as well. So and he wants to do, I think, a trilogy on this one. So Killer Pizza Man 1, 2, and 3. So it'll be interesting. Like, am I gonna live? Am I gonna die?
You know what? If they can make a franchise out of Evil Bong
And
and
Scream.
and
That's just like
Gingerbread Man,
50 million screams and Halloween
right?
and
If they can
Elm
make
Street.
franchises out of that, I mean, that's different. It's different.
True.
Um, Now, as far as you said about the writing goes, I was going to say I would suggest to Will that if he's going to write a movie about a killer pizza place, I'd probably just go to Pizza Hut or something. Be immersive into
The
your
problem with that is
story.
you have to pay a lot of money because that's an endorsement. And when you're talking about putting a brand in there, it's not low cost. I mean, a
Oh
friend of
no,
mine
no, I'm
just did
saying to
his
write the
reality
movie.
show And his reality show, they had him pay $37,000 for like a less than a minute just for showing that. I was like, it made me nauseous. I was like, ugh. So
Yeah,
you'd have to go somewhere where
I
they would
never
want
got
to
you.
give like their promotions, or they'd have like their name out there, and they would it'd have to be like a mom and pop shop. It couldn't be like a big name, uh, for the sole fact of you're paying a lot of money for that.
See, I never got that because to me, it's like, listen, as long as you're not going to do certain things within the store, right? Like you can't have like, okay, we're going to go inside Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, we
Well,
can't
because they're
stereotype,
registered, and
right?
each
You
owner
can't.
is different, so it's a registered name.
Okay, okay, but listen, here's what I'm
Same
saying.
thing like if you go to like McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or any of that stuff, like you're gonna be paying over $37,000 just for
Well,
the
see, it
name.
shouldn't. To me, it's like it shouldn't be that way. It should be honestly. It's like wow. To me, it's as long as you're not doing anything to damage the brand name, right? Like you can't have maggots inside the Whopper or something like that,
I
right?
mean, you never know.
As
Some
long as
people
you're
go
not disrespectful.
crazy in their films, so you can't really
Right.
control that, though.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you're sitting there going like, we're going to do a scene in here, it's just going to be an exposition scene, and you're sitting there at Burger King, and you're there. I mean, I never saw a problem with that. To me, it's like because it's really strange is that companies go to these big blockbusters, they're going like, hey, we want to be a part of the Mandalorian. They're paying Disney. Disney sure as hell ain't paying them for that. I mean, you
Right.
want to be part of this, then you pay us. To me, it's like that's how it should be. If the business, because it's so much more exposure, and not only is it the movie comes out, the exposure's there, but it's forever. It's like a year from now, it's still there. 5 years from now, you could watch that movie. It's still there. It's in perpetuity. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously, you can't go inside of a corporate store and cause havoc. But I was saying, if Will needed to write ideas, an idea, not filming, just writing, I would suggest him going
Yeah.
to a pizza place. Yeah, that would be fun. Everybody's saying hello to you. I'm glad
Everywhere.
to see that. Yes. Yeah, Michael Perry and Sarah French, they have done quite a few movies
Michael
together.
Pare is really, really fun to work with. I would work with him every day and any day, and twice on any other day he wanted me to. He was very on Bridge of the Doom when we were together. He actually was having sinus issues because either his allergies or like long flights kind of create that anyways. But and so there was tissues on the side, and I was doing one of these, pulling the box. I'm a nurse by trade, so it's really hard for me to not do assessments or not do my job when I'm filming, because I'm just like I scan and do assessments anyways. And I'm like, do you need some tissue? He's like, what? I'm like, you need some tissue? He's like, yes. Ting! I'll be a tissue girl. I'm not bringing, I said, don't give me the dirty ones though. But he was just so nice and so humble. And what I liked about him the most, to be very genuinely honest, is that when it came time to go eat, he put himself very last, and he let everybody else go in front of him. He didn't treat anybody like you were secondhand goods. I mean, I've had people literally in the last 2 months tell me they wouldn't interview me and they didn't want me on their podcast because I wasn't a celebrity. And I was like, oh, okay, have a good day. And so I told my friend and said, hey, why don't you do a podcast with so-and-so? And I was like, well, Mr. So-and-so, because I'm not your status. And he started laughing. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not a celebrity like you. I'm not as high as you. He's like, whatever. And he said, anybody that says that to you, like, you don't probably want to be on their podcast anyways. And I was like, well, he's like, you know what? He's the one who screwed up on that one. He's like, because you're like starting to do all this stuff. You have books out. You have other stuff that you're doing. So I'm humble regardless. I've done a lot of things in my lifetime, But I definitely know that my ego is never going to be so far up my ass that I'm going to tell somebody I can't talk to them because they don't have a status.
I don't, yeah, I don't get that at all. I personally do not. Um, I
Especially if
think
I'm advertising for them and I'm like willing to, it's not like I'm bad mouthing people. Whatever.
He's also a podcaster as well, Doomsday Crypt, and so he and I have, we've done a lot of podcasts, between the two of us and some other people. I tell people all the time. I get once in a while I'll get a name, name guess. Once in a while I'll get one, but my type of podcast, the people I like talking to are the people are rising, not already there, but are on the way up. To me, it's a lot more fun talking to someone like yourself because you're on the way up, and it's so much fun to see, right? So you sit there and you go like, wow, and you go back and you look at your body of work and you see how your career is rising. Jamie Hill's in the chat too, and she knows what I'm saying is absolutely right because I was thrilled to death to get to talk to Jamie. It was so cool to be able to talk to her, and that's how it is. I have never told anybody no. I mean, like if someone approached me and sit there and say, "Can I get on your show?" I have never told anybody no. I've taken uh, everybody has ever asked me. I'll say, "Let's find a date." And I found a date. Wow, I'm just appalled by anybody's ego that will sit there and
And
tell
what's
you
really
no.
funny is, and I'll tell the person that I'm going to be doing this with, I'll side note it next day. In a few days, I'm doing a podcast again with one of the champions of the world. He's a UFC like Hall of Famer. He has been on just about the most notorious fights and all these other things. He's a commentator. He has all, and he's like, if you've been watching any MMA or UFC fights, you know who this person is. And so it's funny when somebody said that I didn't have a status. I'm like, what status are you
Wow.
talking about? It's like these other people that have been doing this for umpteen, he's been in it for over 25 years and he has no problem speaking to me. And so it's just going to be interesting because the person that said that I couldn't be on a show decided that he wanted to refriend me after he unfriended me. It's like social media
Wow.
is so funny like that, and I'm like, I'm not petty, so I won't label this person until, he decides to get stupid again. If he gets stupid again and messages me something stupid. But it's just interesting how people will want to say, you're this, you're that, the other. And then they don't have any idea or even reference to who you are. And then they want to come back around and say, oh, well, hey, I'm sorry. Do you want to come on my show now? No, I don't. I don't want
No.
nothing to do with you. And I won't. Like, I will not
No.
go. I was talking to a friend of mine and she's like, well, will you just say yes if no, absolutely not. Because he was rude
Yeah.
to me, number one. And number two, if you're willing to put somebody else that's whatever status you think they have or you think you have, if you're willing to shove somebody that far low, I don't want to talk to you. I actually don't really want to have nothing to do with you. And I don't want to be affiliated with you because you're an asshole. I don't like
Yeah.
dealing with
Yeah.
assholes. If I have to work with you, that's
Yeah.
different. But if I don't have to work with you and I have the choice to, I'd rather
Here,
deal with
here,
people that are like, I don't know.
here's the funny thing too. It's like now I've had the other side of the coin. Now and John can speak to that as well. I've experienced the other side of the coin, and that is where I asked names to come onto the show, and I've been told no. In fact, I tell people all the time that out of the 100 people that I asked to come and do the show, I get told 98 times no.
Really?
They won't come. Yeah, because I'm not big. I don't have big numbers. My numbers are very tiny.
What's
I
funny
don't
about
have.
that is the people that are tiny or however the people even want to express that, to me, if I find them the most loyal, I find them buying my books. I find them actually sharing my stuff. Whereas these other people, they're like, they think they're too good for anybody. They think that, oh, my stuff is the best when I'm like, yeah, no, you're not actually the best. And you know what? Your podcast is so boring that now that I think about it, I'm glad I didn't do it, because I rewatched some of this individual's podcast and I'm like, this was a blessing in disguise. I probably missed and dodged many bullets, because when I'm bored, if somebody's that boring or that mundane, you'll see it on his face. I don't act that well, because my nursing mode goes back in and I'm like, is there something wrong with you? I just like
Well,
conversation, like when people have to have an agenda, or, that, like, this other one was just trying to pigeonhole me into something. And I looked
right.
at it and I was like, is there something that you are wanting to ask me that you're not asking me? Because I feel like you're wanting to go somewhere with this. So just ask the question and I'll let you know if I'll answer it or not. If it's none of your business, I'll just let you know. Yeah, you're
Right.
like, oh my gosh, you can't say that. And I was like, I'll say whatever I want. I'm
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah. Yeah.
guard myself. I'm not going to pretend it's something else. I have some really big things coming up in less than, let's see, it's May still, in July, the end of July. And I can't say exactly what it is because I'm under NDA, but I'm beyond excited for that. And should that move and progress forward like we think that it's going to, I won't need to even say who I am to certain people. They'll ask me. I've had other people, ask me to come on to their shows. And like I said, I'm more than willing to do most podcasts or go to events. I just was at this children's event and I was looking around and I was like, wow, this is a lot of people. This could be a great opportunity for me to speak or bring my books. And so I asked the person who was holding the event, I said, hey, there's a lot of people here. Do you mind if I give you 2 books? You can raffle them off. You can keep all the money for your nonprofit. And then I can sell these books as well. She's like, well, what is it about? And I told her, she's like, yeah. I said, my books are in police departments. They're in family advocacy groups. It's like, I'm not just like throwing my books out just because, I really want to make a difference in this world. And so
Well,
no matter what I do, I
networking
want
to
to
me
make
is
sure I do
it,
that.
networking is critical. I mean,
Yeah.
especially for independent actors. See, this is something that we talked about here before, but it's worth mentioning. Um, press these days is absolutely vital. But unfortunately, the actors have to do it themselves. I mean, you
Well,
have
and
to
a
be
lot
out
of
there.
times some people are paying for the marketing too, which I didn't realize yet. Like some people for PR, you're actually paying the PR, or
Yeah.
you're paying people to like start arguments. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. I don't need to start any more arguments with people already. My views
Oh
are
no,
already
I'm
there.
like I'll deal with some PR people. I'll work with them and they'll slip me they'll say here's a movie and a guest. And so like then I'll work with the PR person to bring that person onto the show or talk about their film. Doesn't happen very often, and I never ever, not one time have I ever accepted nor asked for payment. I don't do it. That's not the reason why I do it. I've had people offer to pay me for a show, and I said no. They also asked me to do a print review. I said no. It's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because there's a reason for it. There's a like you look at People Magazine or Us Magazine. I mean, if you look around, the magazines that we know, like say 20 years ago, it's just like anything else. They're shrinking. It's contracting. So
Yeah.
there's less and less. There's less and less print press. Newspapers are going away. Everything's becoming digitalized. There's so much content out there that a lot of times young actors or young directors, cutting their teeth in the business, unless they make the noise themselves, unless they ring the bell themselves, they're not getting it. They're not going to get
Well, and
a
there's so much
podcast.
competition, like when people
Yes.
are like, well, how do you make it in this business? It's like, I don't know. There's millions and millions of people in this whole pond, So what is making it like when people ask, are you successful? Success is in everybody's different opinion. I feel like I'm
Right.
very successful. I have degrees. I have different papers that they say that I can do certain things. I don't care about no papers. I don't even care about the degrees. I just want to do what I want to do. Like my nursing, I'm a Watsu practitioner. So I get people in the water and I basically help with orthopedic issues, PTSD, anxiety and depression, and people with strokes and all sorts of mental issues or basically body issues. And I bring them in the water and hot water and I hold them in my hands and I hold them in the space and then I create different energy and align their chakras, align their energy, and then also help with orthopedic and spinal issues, a lot of spine issues that I have.
Now,
And so
are,
we put floats on them and stuff like that. And afterwards, they're completely changed. People have come out of the sessions and they feel like they're floating for hours, and it's like, I like to make a difference. So no matter what I do from this point forward, I've been doing this for a while now. I've always known that I wanted to make a difference. Since I was 5, I was watching brain surgeries. So, I mean, no matter what I've done in my lifetime, it's kind of always been for a purpose or something that I've wanted to do. There's not many things that I've done in my life. Well, actually, let me take that back. In the Army, I did a lot of things I didn't want to do. However, I was ordered to do that. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I had a flashback. But other than that, in my lifetime, like jobs or whatever, I've kind of either done the job for like a temporary and then I just moved on to what I really wanted to do, or I just found a way to get to the point where I've done what I wanted to do. And I would encourage anybody who's either trying to get into acting or public speaking or improv classes or, whatever you want to do or whatever your dream and threshold is, to make sure that you pursue it with everything that you have, and even if you can only do it
how
part-time,
much of
at
this?
least pursue
How,
it when you're doing it part-time.
how much of what you just described? How much of that do you apply to your acting, and how do you apply it? Have you? You got to use some of these techniques on inside your acting tool belt. So, what works best for you? What do you do to get
I mean,
ready?
I've
Does
taken
it matter?
classes. I have acting teachers. I've done improv classes. Everybody goes at this differently. The independent world is a little different than other uh, than movies that are A-list actors or people that have a larger budget. We're talking like millions of dollars. I was talking to somebody who just did their film for $1 million. I want to turn my book into a film, and I'm speaking to him right now. He might be my screenwriter, so and producer and director as well. So on that caliber, you have to make sure that you can bring what they want to offer. If you don't have anything to offer, well, then you kind of got to fill your pot basically so that you have something to give. And a lot of people feel entitled in this business. I'm not really sure why. I don't
Good
understand,
question.
like when people get to a certain level, kind of sometimes, not everybody, but there's like this switch that happens and they're just like all of a sudden like, I'm too good to talk to anybody.
I don't get
I don't
that
understand
myself.
that. I don't
I don't
get that.
understand that either.
I will never become that, because I feel like once you've gone to that side of the realms of the world, then you don't really get access to somebody. And then they're just acting basically, or they're on display. And I don't need to be on display. I'd rather have a connection with anybody than have a performance with anybody at this point in time. I mean, I'm taking
What do you
profiling
think is
classes basically
it?
for human trafficking and sex trafficking at this point in time. So I also am doing behavior profiling too. So anything that you can do to kind of expand yourself for some of these roles is going to be great. Like the stuff that I'm studying now can be for a detective, or since I'm a nurse, I can play any of the medical roles, or I can play a doctor. So I encourage people to like even take some classes that you wouldn't normally take to learn per se or get a degree in, but you might find something that's interesting to you, so that when you do play these roles, you got something that you can contribute, that you are like know what you're kind of talking about. Because when you see an actor and he's doing things that like a doctor would never do, you're like, and you're in that field, it's kind of like your head goes, you never do that. And
Yeah.
it drives me nuts when people are sitting next to me and they're like, especially military. If you watch any military films with people that are like badasses and special forces, special ops, it's a nightmare sometimes to watch it with them because they're like, their bootlaces out. And it's like, oh my gosh, don't watch the movie. They wouldn't shoot like that, Mindy. I'm like, shut up, watch the movie. You're ruining
It's just,
it.
it's just a movie.
Right.
But you
And
know,
I have
going
to
back to
remind
that,
them too. I'm like, it's just film. It's just,
yeah,
but
but you're
they're
right.
so wanting to like get out of their minds. They want to be entertained, and I'm like, well, that's fair
Oh my
too.
gosh, but
So
you
that
know what?
if they're not
There's the
entertained,
opposite side of
they're
that,
they're
though,
in
right?
a vision of like this, and they're not gonna like give it up. They're like, well, this is boring, so we're gonna nitpick everything.
So there's the other side of that coin, and that is, you got like movies like war movies or what have you. When you do have somebody there with you watching the movie, and then they start nitpicking on everything that they got wrong, like that's the wrong shirt, that's the wrong. They wouldn't use that gun, and that it's supposed to be World War II, and that came out during the Vietnam War. It's like you're right. It's almost like listen, it's here you are, you're critiquing let's say Bridge of the Doomed, right? And you're sitting there going like, yeah, but they got all the weapons all wrong and the shoelaces are all, dude, they're fighting fucking zombies. It's a fantasy film.
Right.
It's not Gettysburg. If it was
I mean, at
Gettysburg,
one
I'd
point I
listen to
grabbed a
you.
cat and I had a weapon in my. They're like, "Why did you have a weapon in your hand and you grabbed a cat?" I was like, "Are you serious right now? Are you really asking me this?" Because I saw the cat and I thought it was funny. Like literally, that was it. It was just one of those things where I was like, "Hey, take a picture. This is funny." And people like were, "That's terrible, Mindy. You used an animal." I was like, "I didn't shoot the freaking thing. Jeez Louise. I didn't like knock the cat out or anything. I just held it like this. And I had my
How,
weapon
how,
in my hand.
how many cats do you own anyway?
None. I have no pets.
No pets?
Zero. Not even a fish because my freaking betas died. They jumped out and committed suicide or they just died in their little pond. So I was like, all right, I'm not doing any dogs, no cats, no fish. I want to be able, no husband, nothing right now. So I am free to do whatever I want, when I want, how I want.
That's
The
grab the cat.
definition of freedom.
Did they keep that scene in the movie when you grab the cat? Did they keep that scene in it?
No, no, it was just like for
Oh,
the picture.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Uh,
They took out some of the other scenes too. I mean, when you're doing a film, you're only designated like a certain amount of minutes. Every page is 1 minute, basically, if you can look at it that way. So you only have a certain amount of screen time. And if something's not jiving or if you're going over time, when you're spending time is money, so people don't realize that when they're just like laughing around and making noises during the set and people are like quiet on the set. It's because the other person who's paying for these people to play, sometimes it can cost you over 100 grand, not in this realm but like in other films, so they pretty much are like, if you're not on this set or if you're not on this film on this day, get out, because you're making too much distraction for people. And there's a certain amount of food that has to get bought. It's just a lot of money that comes into play. Basically, it's all
right.
about the money, really. So when people are like, well, why didn't they do this? It probably came down to either the money, the resources, and when you're paying these actors who are, pretty well known, you're paying them a lot of money. So you don't want any time wasted, when they're there, which is understandable.
Right. Right. Some of the actors there, I know some of the actors on your films. I know that they only got, the producers only have them for like maybe one day, maybe 2 days. They come in there, they do their lines, and then they get out. Because you're right, because it's so expensive.
Right,
Anybody
and if they're
non
even there a
anybody
couple
non-union,
hours, they're pretty much paid for that day, so you better make it
right?
worth it.
That's got to be a lot of pressure on a producer,
And you gotta
knowing
pay
that.
for their flight, you gotta pay for their hotel, you gotta pay for their food. There's just so much that people don't realize how much goes into it. There's special effects, there's there's a lot. There's sound,
So,
there's coloring, there's everything.
So I want to go back to the start of your career, because you worked in some oh that's right, you did a movie called One Dead Dog.
Oh yeah, almost forgot about that one. I also played in
uh
this one. It was a film about like some local. I was the robber actually, and it was in
mhm.
this. It was in Portland, and I had to basically say, be quiet, dude. You're being too loud. You're gonna wake up the people over here, and I'm trying to steal this car. Yeah, and I was like jimmying it and stuff like that. And then other things came up, and the killers were like, "Are you talking about us?" And we're supposed to
Oh,
act all surprised. It's like just funny, stupid kind of stuff. But gosh, I've done extra stuff, extra work when I was starting out, and then I did stuff in Portland before I had done some of the films, and unfortunately, those didn't even they didn't even go up. So it's like it's really
wow.
frustrating sometimes when you're an actor in this realm. Anyway, when you're doing the acting, and then all of a sudden, either your scene doesn't come on, you don't get filmed, you get uncredited, or you spend all this time doing the song and the dance, only to find out that they're not even getting on the network. Something happened, somebody was fighting with somebody, or that happens a lot too. People have like relationships during these shoots and stuff like that, and they hate each other. Even on like Twilight, they pretty much the main cast members were with Kristen and I forget the other dude's name, but they were in a relationship, then they break up. It's like, oh my gosh, and I still have to work with you, and they still have to act like they
Right.
love each other. So it's like, I don't know if you should be doing that, but to each their own.
Now, what year were you in Portland when you were doing your acting? What year was it?
That was, it was before COVID, so I want to say 2016 or 2017.
Okay.
I think
How did
2016
you get
actually,
into
because I was doing improv classes. I arrived here in 2014, so it was 2016-ish, 2017.
So how did you get into acting? Was it something you decided you wanted to pick up, or was it something
I
you
actually
wanted to do
hated it
from?
when I was younger. My mom actually
Uh,
wrote plays all the time and wanted me to like do it. She actually put me in a lot of modeling like contests and photos. I mostly won photo shoots, and I won most of my awards being in front of the camera, on print work and stuff like that. And then when I did pageants, I won those, but I hated it. I was the
wow.
type of woman that little girl. I did not want the dresses. I did not want the frills. I wanted to be like my brothers were going with Tonka trucks, and they got the cool stuff, and I had to be in this dress and makeup, and I was like, I don't want this. So um, the reason I actually ended up coming back into acting is 2014. I was tortured for 4 straight months from the military government at the VA San Antonio, Texas hospital. My book's in 17 countries at this point in time, so I talk about it very religiously in my book called Resilient Warrior. And I was bedbound for almost 4 years. So I was beyond angry with everybody, anybody. It could be a kid, it could be a dog, it could be everybody. Everybody's on the same playing field. And I had met
Except for
somebody
cats.
in Oregon, and they were like, "Hey, uh, you want to go for coffee?" So I was at this coffee shop, and they're like, "Hey, this is my teacher," and I'm like, "Teacher for what?" They're like, "We take improv classes." I'm like, well, "What's that?" She goes, "I think you would be really, really good at this." She goes, "And it'll help you go through all of your emotions." So I recommend
Mm,
anybody to go through improv because you're basically making it so that the other person shines. So it's not even about you. You want the other person to, and then they're going to do the same once everybody's got like a turn or whatever. But basically, it makes, for me, I got to go through all of the emotions without any repercussions. It's angry, happy, sad. And this teacher was really good. She's been doing it for 30 years, and she owns a coffee shop, two coffee shops, but before COVID, and then after COVID, one. So when I went through those classes, it taught me more life skills actually than anything else. And then a veteran uh, found out that I was on Facebook and stuff like that. And he said, "Hey, you want to come do this film with me?" And I was like, "Sure." What does it entail? He's like, "Just come with me." And I was like, "All right." So I met the producer and the director and all that other stuff. And he was like, "Hey, I think my friend would be good with this." And so I talked to him and I made him laugh, and he's like, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Well, can we do improv? Because I don't know if I can study. I don't know how to read these lines. I don't even know if I can memorize anything at this point in time. My brain might be
Right.
loopy, because I didn't know." And so we did improv for that one. And then, I had to learn how to read scripts and stuff like that, and really learn how to do like character development and stuff like that as well. So what taught me the most though was having fun doing these improv classes. And there's different methods that you can learn acting with. The different teachers have different styles, the Meisner, and different types of acting. However, for me, the most fun is improv because it's literally coming from you and it's quick right off the wit, like whose line is it anyway? That
Right.
is a
Right.
fun, they pick things out of the random jar and you just get out of the randomizer, and they just basically you go with it. And I like that style. Some professional actors hate that style because they don't have a script with them and it's not like formal they don't consider it performing. But for me, I mean, it uses my brain, so I feel like it's good enough.
I think improv actors. Within reason, because there are a couple out there that I think fall in love with it way too much, and it always affects their performance.
I think they fall in
Or
love with themselves a little too much, and they
a
like to
little
hear
bit too much.
themselves.
Yeah, I really like it when a couple of these actors who are very well known, and I really like it when they're restrained. Like
Right.
I think their acting
Like
is so
Wayne
much
Brady
better.
is the best at that.
Oh, improv.
Yeah, Wayne Brady from Whose Line Is It Anyway? There was
Right.
like 3 or 4 set guys, and then they brought in some woman, and she was boring. I didn't like her, and I didn't like the other person that they brought in, some other dude. But the 3 main ones, oh my gosh, they were right on time. It was right, and they were really funny in my opinion.
I think it's incredible.
I've done different types of films, and I've not done. There's certain ones that I kind of am waiting to do. So it'll be interesting to see. Like Killer Pizza Man is still horror comedy. So I would really love to do comedy, or like an action film, or something that expands a different role, a different side of me. I really genuinely want to go off the wall bonkers on somebody and like either have a kill scene, or like where it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where they have they fall in love and then they try to kill each other and then they come back together, or just an action film or something different, something fun. So we'll see what happens after this. I know I'm doing something in July. They just got funded for it, and a friend of mine gave me a call and she wants me to do it with her. So that's going to be really, really fun when I can announce it. I'm really, really excited for that one.
So, do you like horror more, or do you like action movies more, or does it really matter?
I
Because
like people.
you've done a lot. You've done action. You've done action and horror. And you worked with some really good you worked with some really good directors. You got Will. You're working for Will. You work for Brandon Slagle.
I
You worked
really
with
liked working with Brandon Slagle. He's really nice, and he's really great on set, and he kind of keeps a tight ship running really
yes.
smoothly. Um, and it was great the last couple films. And so I like people. So it really genuinely, for me personally, doesn't matter what genre I'm playing in. I just like to network with new people, meet new people, and kind of get into the craft per se. Um, I don't really have a favorite genre. I know that there's a lot of people in the horror industry that would like fall over if they heard me saying this, because they're like, a lot of people that are in the horror genre will only stick to the horror genre. They don't
It's
like stepping
surprising.
out of that horror genre.
it's surprising they do. Like I looked at
Not me. I have ADHD as it is, so I like to go everywhere. You know, like let me have some of this, some of that, some of that. Even when I'm ordering desserts or food, I want like 5 different items just to like, oh, I want this. No, I want this. Okay, I want it all.
right. I can understand that. What's it like for you to? I mean, what was it like for you when the first time you had to audition? Did you know what the audition was and what it detailed, or was that completely new to you as well
When I auditioned, it
for the
was
first time?
semi
Yeah.
new to me. Oh, well, when I first auditioned, I was a child. My mom shoved me in stuff that I had to audition for, and I didn't do well because I couldn't remember the lines. So I was like, so they were like, how about if you just don't say anything and we just take pictures of you over here? And I was like, okay. I didn't really know how to study lines, and my mom didn't have the resources. Basically, she put me in pageants, to be honest, basically so that we could pay for college. And I didn't want to model anymore, so I had won Miss San Francisco Bay Teen USA, and when I was 18, and I had said, if I win this, even if I don't win this, I don't want to do this anymore, Mom. I said, after this pageant, no matter what happens, I want to be done. Oh, okay, yeah. Then I win, and she gets all wild, crazy. Well, I want you to do one more with Miss World. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. I told you I'm 18. And so what I did the next day is I went straight to the recruiter's office in the Army recruiters. I signed paperwork. I was 17 before I was even able to even sign the paperwork. And my mom gets a knock on the door and she's bawling her eyes out. How could you do this to me? And I'm like, well, can you sign that paperwork? Because I'm going to the Army. And they told me I could be a combat field medic. And that's what I want to do. So I jetted to the military to get away from all the like wearing makeup and dresses and stuff like that, only to come back to it. So it's kind of funny now. Like I have a big photo shoot coming up in the end of June for the same thing that I hated when I was younger. But now it's like I'll be 50 at the end of in December 8th. And so I want to make sure that I have no regrets at this point in time. So I want to do all the things that I wasn't allowed to do when I was younger now. And I want to dive deep into some of these characters that I was talking to some other people about, and talking to this producer and the creator of his film that was, over $1 million. I just want to expand to do things, and what it doesn't matter to me like what the budget is. That some people like are really caught up with, oh, they'll only be in films that are over 500K, or they'll only do films that are, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter. That part doesn't matter to me either. Like I said, I have no ego, and I'm pretty humble when it comes to that.
Do you think though, when they say that though, the reason why they're saying that though is because they just want to make sure they get paid something?
If you're a part of SAG or part of the union, you have to get paid. So no, they just want to be legitimized, and they want to basically make sure that they're playing with somebody that makes it into distribution. Because a lot of the times, a lot of these films and independent filming, or some of these other films too, they don't get to distribution. So then they feel like they're doing all this work for nothing. And we're signing non-disclosure agreements. So you can't even have a picture, or a lot of the times too, like a friend of mine, you can't even have your phone on set. They put a big bag, they put your name on it, and they shove your phone into a sealed bag, and they give it to you at the end. So you can't even talk about the filming that you've done, which the other film that I was in.
Nobody has a problem with that though, right? No, I mean, nobody has a problem with that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they do.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Like for Vikings and stuff like that. The problem is people don't understand it from another point of view, and I'll help the viewers understand that are not in film. You can ruin a whole film or a whole TV series by just putting a certain picture out that hasn't been out yet, because they're waiting for a certain like fight scene, or they're trying to like where the person's going to have to do something monumental. You're giving up parts of the film where now the next season or whatever, you've ruined it. and you've ruined millions of dollars, so there's a lot at stake, and people think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's a huge deal. And if it was my money, your phone's going in that bucket now. Used to not know, when you don't know, you
Oh my
don't know,
God, studios are
but
terrible with that shit though now. I mean, you hear that shit all the time. Like they'll sit there and say a picture got leaked from the Mandalorian. You really think that someone's picture is going to get? You think that Disney doesn't know? Disney's the one that's probably pushing it. Independence,
there
yes,
are
that's
some
a
people
that's a
actually who do like have drones
yeah.
and stuff like that, and they don't know. So, people think that they know because you're thinking from an old point in perspective. They've got so many things that
I
are
think
like
it's a
on
new
people's
point of perspective.
glasses nowadays that they could take pictures with their
Yeah,
glasses and people don't know it. So no, I unfortunately I have to correct you on that one because I didn't know about certain things. And my friend was like, look, and I was like, well, how did you get that? He's like, it's in my pen. And I was like, the heck? So there's pens and all sorts of things that don't come out, but you can ruin a film, and
mhm.
it's not okay to do that. I mean, that person
No,
put all their heart and soul into writing a script. It's hard enough to write the script, but when
I hate
it's
it
your
myself.
when
I
it's
don't
your
want to see
money,
any
you can do
pictures.
whatever you want, but if it's
Yeah,
not
I'm with you.
my thing and it's not, just gonna listen, like if you have that big of an ego, get off the set. That's how I feel.
I hate leaked pictures. I don't like leaked pictures. I'm not a really big fan of trailers. I don't watch a lot of trailers because they tell too much of the movie. I'm not about that. It's the back of a DVD. Writing the synopsis. You ever read any synopsis from IMDb? Just search. Just type in some popular movies and read the synopsis. They can't write anymore. Nobody can knows how to write. Oh, I'll get chat PT, PT to do it. But knowing themselves, nobody else can actually do that anymore. It's a
And
lost art.
sometimes in the trailer, you won't even see the actual scene that they put in the film.
Yeah, yeah,
It- you
sometimes
know,
they do
and
that.
and a lot of people right now are doing AI. So like I told
Uh,
somebody, I was like, well, that's a really good trailer. He's like, yeah, that's not going to be in there. I was like, well, then why'd you even put it up? That's so useless. He's like, excuse me. I said, that's so useless. I'm like, oh, nobody told you that? Well, they should have told you that, and he's like, that's not that you're not supposed to tell me that. And I was like, well, I'm going to tell you that. Yeah. So I'm like, like the gift of the gab sometimes, things just pop out of my mouth. And maybe I should have thought about it. And I was like, oh, maybe I should shove that back in my mouth. But too late. So sometimes they're using AI and these trailers look so great. And then you look at the film and you're like,
well, it's
where did
funny
that
you
come
mentioned.
from?
It's funny you mentioned it because we did touch upon this our first conversation, but I'm not an AI guy at all. Nope, just not doing it. But when I saw the picture of Killer Pizza Man, and I saw it, Will posted on there, and it's obviously AI. Like I said, I had to admit, I was like, wow, that's actually really cool. I
There's
mean,
some really cool stuff that's coming out in the future. I mean,
but
we have cars in Las Vegas that are taxis that are driving people without a person in it. And I'm like, well,
oh,
at least you
wow.
won't get kidnapped from people on Uber. At least
Oh,
it's a safer car because somebody's, who the flip knows in China that's driving the vehicle.
yeah, well, the Waymo cars. Yeah, so I were you living in San Francisco? You've been in Portland for a while,
I've
so
lived
you
in
probably don't.
close to San Francisco for a couple of years before. I
Okay,
lived in
I don't know if
California, Florida, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So I lived on the East Coast pretty much my whole life. But every summer since I was 4, I flew out to my dad's house. So I basically lived half time in California and then half time on the East Coast. So I've gotten both sides of it.
so you lived in the Bay Area for a couple of years.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually graduated from a place called Antioch High School. It's about,
Uh,
it's a little bit, it's a ways away from San Francisco, like where
yeah.
Alcatraz and all that other stuff. But
I
it was a
used to go
smaller
fishing.
city.
I used to go fishing off the banks of the river there on the
All right.
Antioch Bridge. I used to go fishing there. I know
Oh,
exactly
nice.
where you're talking about. Yeah.
There's
I
some
lived in
really
San
like,
Jose.
but I loved track and field. I did a lot of sports. I did like water polo, soccer, cross country. And when I was a senior, I wanted to wrestle. And there was a lot of men that, we had to wrestle, but whatever. And then there was a few women that were like just starting to get into it. The only reason I did it actually is because the person I was dating at the time said I couldn't get into it. So I asked the coach, I'm like, hey, can I try out for this? And then I looked at him and I was like, if I make this, I'm kicking you out of my life for telling me I couldn't do something. I made the team and I dropped him and I was like, I don't need you anymore. Like if you're going to tell me that I can't do something, I don't need it.
So obviously you are really at home doing action, adventure, and horror movies. How are you comfortable with doing straight dramas? I mean, that's something that makes you like, we want you to be in a drama movie, like,
I'm
family
comfortable
split
at this
apart.
point in time doing anything. I would be very open. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'd be open even to doing romance at this point in time. I'd have to get my mind set on like what I'm going to be doing and just look at the script. But I'm genuinely open to doing anything at this point in time, from A to Z, and then loops around. So if anybody wants me to do anything, then message me and contact me, and we'll talk about it. And then I won't do any porn ever, though. That I don't. I want to make sure that's very clear that, I won't do anything. If someone said, oh, well, you can do this, I forgot to clarify that one. I won't do any of that stuff. No.
So let's talk a little bit more about Dead Pizza Man, because now how did you hear about it? I mean, how did you get asked to join the project? Was it through friends? Did you audition for it? Did someone see your work previously? How did you
remember who I was talking to, but they had talked about, they had just spoke to Will, and I was like, yeah, they didn't know that I knew him. And I was like, I've known Will I did Scream Bloody Murder with him. It's called Cheer Bloody Murder now. It's at Lionsgate. We're waiting for it to come out. And that was, I want to say like 2021 or 2020. I can't remember. Somewhere in that spectrum of time, because time kind of has eluded me by this time. And I was just checking it out, and I was like, oh, you're doing this new film. I'd like to be a part of it. And he's like, okay. So we talked about it, and that's pretty much how it got started. I mean, I've known Will for a couple years now. So, and I was like, hey, this is going to be like a reunion, or like, are we going to have the same people from, this, that? And so sometimes it's really fun to do a film where you don't know anybody, but then sometimes it's really fun to kind of have a reunion with some of the people that you've done films with, because the energy and the synchronicity of people when you come together and you've known each other for a while can be really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Cheer Bloody Murder, the movie. Cheerleaders attending a cheer camp are stalked by mass murderer. Do you get tired of playing the same? I mean, do you ever, like, when you hear about this, when you hear about the script, you look at it and go like, man, I've already done this, like clowns invade the shoe store. Oh, another clown movie. I mean,
because even in Clown Motel 3, I created my own character. I created I created the personality and I developed my own character. So a lot of these independent films, you can actually kind of veer off and create your own character, especially in the independent filming. And no, I don't get tired of it. If I got tired of it, then that's like the actor's job, right? And there's only main themes in the world, really, in life, like get the girl, lose the girl for romance, or this person's out for this person and they're killing this person. So I mean, there's certain topics that always come up and they resurface itself with a different title. So I don't know. I can't really look at it that way. The only thing I look at right now is expanding who I've been working with and what genres I wanted to work with. And at this point, I don't want to ever get stuck in one genre, though. That's my biggest thing. I want to make sure, like, some people love getting, they get one role and they're always known as like the gangster. I want to make sure I have a whole spectrum of things. So that way, if somebody's like, hey, would you play this? Sure. Do you have experience playing this? Yeah. That way, at least they have something to go by, or something that I can push myself in.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know that some of the actors are right. They're first they're really concerned about being typecast. I don't want to play that role every single time. But the thing is, you're right. Then all of a sudden, they realize that, what? I'm the only one doing this role. When people are looking for this character, they're coming to
Right.
ask me about it. And next thing you know, it's like, yeah, I can do this role every time, all the time. They're not going to
Right.
call anybody. They're going to say, get me the James Jones type. I'm right here, and I'll get all the work.
Right.
As
Well,
long
it's
as I
nice
guess
for
as
them
long
too because they're always pretty much guaranteed a paycheck. Like if there's a certain actor that people really love working with and they're known for this specific genre and they're really, really good at it and they're really easy to work with and they're not douches on set, they're not like, oh, I'm so and so. It's
God,
really kind of like it's easier to work with and it's fun because you're going to see that character in so many different films, but they're going to be kind of playing the same person, but different names, different
it,
characters.
it it amazes me sometimes. I'll be honest with you, Mindy. It amazes me sometimes. This is what I love about Eric Roberts. Eric Roberts is, to me, he's like solid gold, right?
Yeah.
That guy he'll do, it took me a long time to realize this because he was on so many movies, right? I mean, every time I go inside the video store, I mean, like how many new movies got released this week? Oh, we got 20
I
new
don't know, but
movies.
at least he's getting paid. I mean, I'd be like, ching, 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 ching,
Well,
ching,
well,
ching, ching.
you know what it was for me was like you said, there's 20 new movies. You go over there and like 10 of them will have Eric Roberts on there. And before you get all discouraged about it, but then you watch one, right? Like me, I watch an Eric Roberts movie and I'm sitting there and watching and I'm going like, I've been wrong about this because everything that he ever does, he gives 100%. I mean, he could be the worst god awful story or but he's given it his all. And I just had a whole brand new respect for him and his craft because it's like it's another Eric Roberts movie. So what? That means it's to me it's like I'm happy to hear about that because he
Yeah,
always gives and you're right, there are some actors that it's like, oh, I'm playing a clown again. And it shows in their body language. It shows in
yeah,
their delivery that they just don't give a rat's ass.
right.
They're
They're
here
just there for the
and
paycheck.
right, right.
And for
And
me,
then
like I
here.
said, I want to expand my roles and uh, I want to work with different people that are still hungry for the craft or don't have an ego. I don't want to work with somebody who's so egotistical that I'm like having to like on set, like, okay, ready?
Well, besides Michael Pere, who we already mentioned, who are five actors, male or female, who are five scene partners that you've had that you've enjoyed working with the most?
Well, one's dead actually.
Besides
So I was
Michael.
like, she's dead. I don't actually want to do name dropping because then other people will like say I didn't mention your name, so I don't want to go down that road. I was just about to. The dead person, well, she's dead. So that'll, it's like, I'm like, oh, well, oh, yeah, I am not going to do this one. Actually, I'll skip this question because I can already hear you didn't
Okay.
mention me.
How,
What about, I thought
how,
we were friends.
okay. How about giving us your five favorite movies that you worked on?
How
Doesn't have
about
to be
what I would
doesn't have
want
to
to
be
work
doesn't have
on?
to be the best. It doesn't have to be the best movie, in terms of budget and star casting. I'm just asking you, what is your five favorite films that you worked on?
I think I'll
It
do
could be
this. I would say what I would want to work on. How about that? So the ones that I would want to work on are Vikings Valhalla. Michael Hurst is an amazing writer. And I have friends that were in the Vikings Valhalla, Games of Thrones, How to
is that
Train
the
Your
same
Dragon
Michael? Is
1 and
that the same
2.
Michael Hurst who was on Hercules?
This is Michael Hurst who's done all the series for Vikings Valhalla. I don't know what all he's done I'd have to look them up. Uh, but all I know is the Vikings changed the projections of my life, and it helped me get through the traumas that I had that happened in 2014, and then past traumas that I've had. I would want to work with Catherine Winnick. I would want to work with
Yeah.
Travis Fimmel. Travis Fimmel. Oh my God, he's amazing. Like any films that I've ever seen him in, he just brings it, and his character developments are just amazing to me. And he was doing it when he was a Calvin Klein model, underwear model, just like Marky Mark. I would like to work. I would really, really love on the toppest of my list are Catherine Winnick, Travis Fimmel, Julia Roberts. I would definitely want to work with Julia Roberts. I think other than that, I'm kind of
I like
open.
Catherine. I like Catherine Winnick too.
Oh
And
yeah,
you know what I really like. I think she's such a badass.
she did really. It's hard though because people, when she stepped out of Vikings, when she did Big Sky and all that other stuff, people were angry because she wasn't playing a Viking. She wasn't playing the same role. And that's what I'm saying about being typecasted, because it was such a long series that people were just so used to one role, so they can't open their minds to something else.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, but
you might.
listen, you guys wanted to do that.
I think she was always known. Like she's had
She's
an interesting
karate,
career.
actually. So, I mean, she was martial arts for
Yeah,
before she did filming, and she actually couldn't get cast before the Vikings. And when she got the Vikings, the reason she got it is for the martial arts. So, and I'd heard that story, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And
yeah,
that's
she's
what
really
got her
good.
started.
I mean, I would match her up against. I mean, as far as her acting goes, I would match her up quite easily with Charlize Theron.
Oh
Or
yeah,
Mila
she's good
Jovovich.
too. I'd like to work with her. She was
Uh,
so good in Monster. Oh my gosh.
of course, my main girl though, that I would have to, I would sit there and say, I'd love to see you work a scene with her, with my girl Zoe Bell.
I'm not sure who that one is.
Zoe Bell is a New Zealand actress, and she got her start working as a stunt woman. She did a lot of Tarantino films. In fact, she did
Okay.
Death Proof. She did Death Proof
I didn't see that
with
one.
Kurt Russell. Oh my gosh, she's she's really something else. She is a real, she's a badass, total
Nice.
badass. And she can act too, which is really cool. Um, I like the choice. Catherine Winnick is yeah, I could dig it. We
Yeah,
don't you don't
those
really
are
hear
my
her name.
those are my like big, like if I had a Rolodex and there was three, it would be Travis Fimmel first, Catherine Winnick, and then it would be Julia Roberts.
Uh, what do you like working? Do you like working with new actors? I
I
mean,
do. I do. I like people
yeah,
in general. Like I said, I'm a nurse. So, I mean, I also love to get to know new people, but I also don't mind working with the same people too, because then I actually catch up with their lives. What are you
no,
doing? What are you doing now?
that's a
So
great.
I'm kind of a chameleon that way. I don't like, I've traveled my whole life. So when I was younger, I never really stayed in one spot for longer than 3 to 6 months at times, because well, if anybody reads my book, they'll know why. And so I was programmed and learned from a very young age not to get attached to either materialisms or people. And so I find it very easy. Like I can talk to a bum the same way that I could talk to a millionaire. I can go into a foreign country, like I lived in Germany in the military, and I can go off post or on post. I can, veer into talking with the people that have been around incarceration. I can be around people that have only been rich. So I feel like I've been blessed, maybe blessed and cursed, but I feel like because of my past, it's kind of helped me now get to the point where I feel very comfortable with talking with just about anybody. except for the people that are kind of jerks. But sometimes I can actually, sometimes the people that are the biggest jerks to other people, for some reason, they're really nice to me. And then the people that everybody, oh, I love this person. All of a sudden, it's like, are you talking about the same person here? Yeah. So, I mean, it just depends. Lately, though,
I,
it seems like I've been able to just talk to anybody.
right. I think that's a really, because I've heard a lot of that. I've heard a lot of, a lot of, I like this story best when I hear about people talk about set, and that's the Bill Lawrence story. And I love this a lot. Bill Lawrence is the creator who created, hey, Lady Valerie. Our good friend Lady Valerie is in the house. I like this story. This is my favorite story when it comes down to working on a set. Bill Lawrence is the guy who created Scrubs, and so when he had one rule for his cast and crew on Scrubs, and it was cast and crew, and he just said like, "Hey, whatever you can be, whatever you are, do whatever you want, but there's one thing you cannot do, and that is you cannot be an asshole. If you are an asshole, you
Yeah.
will not be here." And and he
And I
was
like
just
Adam Sandler for that reason too. He brings in the same people, but you could see the chemistry, So sometimes it's actually great to work with the same people because you can see the
yes,
chemistry on film. But
yes,
for me, like I was asked, oh, would you ever work with new actors? Of course. Like for me, like everybody has to start somewhere. So I'm never going to be like,
yeah,
oh, you've never done this before. I can't work with you. Please, I'll work with you. I mean, but I think that's because I'm a nurse too. I think because I'm in the medical field that I'm very open-minded and I'm well-traveled. I've lived all over the United States, literally from the north, south, east, and west. I'm in Oregon now, and I love this state. So this is going to be my forever state until I pass on to the next wherever we go.
Valhalla.
I would hope Valhalla, and I know that in my lifetime that I have done some things. So,
I have a feeling your dream role would be playing a Viking.
oh my
Just
gosh,
call
yes,
me, just
in a
just call it
heartbeat.
an educated
If
guess.
I lived in Ireland, I would be like knocking on no door. They couldn't get rid of me. I would just stand there and wait. How about today? How about tomorrow? How about the next year?
Oh
Well,
my
how about
God.
now?
I've heard so many people, I've heard stories about that where people just audition for, there's hundreds of people were auditioning for parts from the big
What's
series
good
that
though
were
is
the
with the Vikings, you had to live in Ireland. You couldn't live, it was only the people that were in the specific cities, which was great because my friend, that's how I met the actors in the show. And one of them reached out to me when they saw my video in 2014, and he's become like one of my closest friends. And then he actually was inspired by my book, and he wrote a book, and I sent him to my publisher, and my publisher flew to Ireland, and there's a big convention out there, so he got to meet them. And then I met some other people that were on Vikings, and they actually brought my book onto the set for Vikings and Vikings Valhalla. So and I dedicated my books to the Vikings because they're the ones who actually got me through the toughest of the times where I was bedbound and my foot was raised above my head and I couldn't bring it down because it would swell up to like this. And I was neurologically burning from my foot to my brain every day. And I was being tortured and stuff like that. So they're the ones who actually got me through my lifehood. And I was not joking, but I was telling somebody the other day, oh my gosh, what I would love the scene for, the blood eagle to come back out. And I would love to be able to recreate that scene. Talk about a horror show. If you haven't seen a blood eagle, look up Travis Fimmel and look up Vikings and go look up that. If you love horror, I had showed my friend, I was like, hey, the warning, it's kind of graphic. I'll be fine. She calls me midway. She goes, oh my gosh, Mindy, I can get through it. I'm like, well, watch it again, then you'll get through it. You'll be fine. But for me, I would love to do anything that's like Vikings material. I would love to, I want to play a strong female role, but I also don't mind flipping it and playing like, holy crap, she's gone crazy role too.
Do you? I mean, if people see you in horror films or whatnot, but I think I see you more in action. I mean, you know, does that bother you that people do see you more as an action-oriented actress? Does that help you? You know, are there what roles are out there for you more?
I've
Are
never
there
been
more
cast.
action roles?
I've never been typecast actually. So people have genuinely actually told me that like I have such a variety at this point in time that
Right.
they have a hard time typecasting me because of that. And I made sure of that too, because I've done different roles for that specific reason. Um, I think in any type of a film, there's got to be some type of at some point some type of action, and then sometimes there's thriller and stuff like that. But I won't get stuck in a certain genre. I'll make sure that I don't get not stuck, but I don't want to play in only one genre. I want to make sure that I expand myself. And I would even like to play, like, if they brought back The Sopranos, I would even like to play like a mob, like one of the mob bosses or one of the mob lady bosses, or, that would be fun.
I'm looking over your cast for your new movie, Dead Pizza Man, and yeah,
Killer Pizza Man.
Killer Pizza Man, Deep Dish Killer Pizza. That's my favorite. I hope that's the sequel. The sequel could be Killer Pizza Man, Killer.
I don't know what the
Pizza
sequel is. I don't know what he's calling it.
I don't know
I think
either.
it's Killer Pizza Man 1, Killer Pizza Man 2, and Killer Pizza Man 3.
I'm just looking at the cast list here, and you get a chance to work with a true legend in the indie business, in Brink Stevens. You're gonna have a lot of fun. Oh, I see. There's Nicole. Nicole's in there, and Julianne's in there, and you get to work with Morgan too. So you get to work with a lot of fun people. Are these going to be all? I mean, what's the worst thing about working with a new actor? I mean, because there's got to be some sort of trepidation.
No.
Does it? Are you?
I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but I don't mind. I really genuinely, with this film, I've never there's only a very few. Actually, I think there's only one. Nicole, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I've worked with. Oh, no. I brought somebody else on. There's going to be 2 or 3 people that I've actually worked with. The rest I didn't know about, so I'd have to look them up to who they are, and I kind of like it that way too, because then it keeps my, like, I don't have an ego. I don't have an ego. I come humble. I don't really mind working with new people, and there's really no trepidation. I walk into everything that I'm doing as if I'm going to have fun, and if I'm not having fun, then why do it?
Right.
Whether I'm getting paid or not paid, or whether I'm paying. A lot of people don't realize sometimes you're paying to go, you're paying for something. You're paying for your headshots, you're paying for travel, you're paying for food, you're paying for something, so you're paying. Everybody, you're paying. You're paying for something. So
isn't it something?
And if you're paying for independent films, you're paying for your role. So I mean, people are like, I didn't pay for my role. Well, you paid something, and people are like, why would you do that? I'm like, did you go on vacation last year? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, you paid for your vacation? Why would you do that? I'm like, well, I get a DVD out of it. I get to have fun. I get to meet people out of it. There's genuinely no trepidation. There's really no trepidation, actually. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy traveling, and I enjoy meeting new people. And I enjoy
coming back and working with other people. You're right. I mean, even if you got paid for your role, chances are you're not going to make as much money for your role in an independent film. You're not going to pay. It's not like you're paying for it. It's just like, yeah, let's just say they pay you $2,000, but it costs you $4,000 to get there, and So you're right.
Right.
A lot of actors.
I mean, I had a role that was offered to me in Gibraltar, and in the UK. It would have been great because, yes, I would have gotten a certain amount when I got there, or whatever. But the expense was like over $5,000, and I was like, how about I don't do that right now, because that's not worth it to me. You'll be getting to work with so and so. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Have
No,
a good
if
day.
I gotta be working with so and so, then maybe I can get paid like so and so.
Well, yeah, exactly. And for the independent films, unless you're a complete celebrity that's been in it for a long time and you're worldwide and people know you, like Robert Lasardo, all those other people, you're not getting paid as much as people say that, oh, yeah, I'm going to get paid all this money. Good luck, dude.
Mhm.
Have fun. Good
Good
luck.
luck. Um,
I
well,
just like to be real about it, and
you've
people
achieved a
don't. People
you've
are like,
achieved
you
a
shouldn't have
rarity
said
here,
that.
though. I tell you what, you've achieved a rarity here. You've actually been on the show twice. I don't have very many second timers come through here.
Well, that's
I
because we
just try
talked
to get.
about my books the first time.
Well, no, shh, shh. We're not supposed to say that. We're supposed to just say there because by popular demand, Mindy Dougherty had to come
Oh,
back.
see, I
So,
told you I'm a little too honest for people. We did talk about the films. Don't get me wrong, we did.
yes.
For
Oh
like,
gosh, I Will cannot say anything about this one. I am sure he's looking at that, going like, "All right." He took care of it. He hyped up Mindy and he
we
hyped
did. We
up.
talked about Killer Pizza Man.
That's right. And the sequel, Deep Dish Pizza Man, got to make that happen. Um,
Is
we
that what
have
he's
hit our
calling it?
mark.
Deep Dish Pizza Man instead of Killer Pizza Man 2?
Man, I hope so. Man, does that sound like, that actually sounds pretty cool. Deep Dish Killer Pizza Man. That's
I'm
actually
here for the ride. I don't know. I'm like a
that does
passenger, so whatever he chooses to
that
do.
well, yeah, but you have to survive the first one.
I don't know if
I've
I
had
am surviving or not. When you talk to Will, ask him. He'll
yeah,
know
I'll
better
have
than
to
I
sit there.
do.
I'll have to sit there and say, can you have to do me a favor? You have to keep her for the sequel, Deep Dish Killer Pizza Man, so we can come back and do the show again. So yeah, I'm
Yes.
in fact I'm gonna better yet than telling him, I'm gonna wait until the 25th, and then when he's sitting there across from me like this, that's what we're gonna come up there and say. So when you're sitting there writing Mindy's role here, you have to keep her alive. She has to be a final girl because she has to come back to do the sequel of Killer Deep
Right
Dish
on.
Pizza Man. All,
I'm really
all right,
glad
boys
that
and
people
girls.
actually love to have actually liked seeing my scenes, and I am so grateful that people actually like watching me and hearing me talk and have fun with me and don't find me, you know,
No,
obnoxious to work with.
no,
Because
not at
there's some
all.
people that like are so hard to work with, but so far I've not heard that. So it's been
No,
very nice.
you're fun to talk to. Very fun. So I'm glad you came back. Glad we're able to get you back, and we have hit our mark. So
All
we're
right.
gonna go ahead and wrap this
Anybody have
up.
any quick questions or?
Yeah, it would be nice if someone has questions. Just like I said, this is this. I hope that someone has. Let's see. See,
I didn't see any
Michael
questions. I
Perry.
just saw good evening and
Well, Mike is John mentioned something about Michael Perry. He says Michael Perry was a favorite among friends, and I as kids. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I like
I didn't
Michael
see
Perry.
any
I think he's
questions
great.
though in here. I just saw like
No.
hi. So
Yeah, yeah. They'll come back, and I'll tell you what. They can come back and they can leave questions in the comment section, and whatever questions I get here, because sometimes I do, I will turn around and I'll send it to you, and you can answer it.
sounds great.
If not, we'll have you come back and for like like we've already booked you into the sequel, so we'll have you come back. Now that I said that we're gonna have you come back, now it has to happen. Um,
That's right.
but that's right. In fact, our very next show will be with Will Colazzo on the
Oh, great. There you
25th of
go.
May. So we're going to be putting him on the spot right off the bat. On the
Sounds good.
27th of May, 27th of May, we have a tremendous show with John from Doomsday Crypt. We'll also be talking with special lighting visual FX guru Joe Castro, and we'll also be talking with Danny Hassel, who appeared in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. So we
Ooh,
get a
that'll be
little
fun. Nightmare on Elm Street was so good. Anybody that did Nightmare on Elm Street, lucky as all get out. I mean, that was
man, no
such a hit
doubt, right?
horror show.
That no doubt. I mean, the only one that sort of went past me was probably the second one, but after that, it was game on. Because Freddie was being Freddie, and 4 and 5. and New Nightmare. I love New Nightmare. New Nightmare was genius.
Yeah, I can't remember which all of them, but
New
they were
Nightmare
pretty
was the
much all
one
good to me.
where they had the people playing themselves, and they were making a movie, and it actually
What
comes to
was the
life.
one where they were like little babies or whatever that came out of like the holes and whatever? He had like people inside this like the body. I can't remember that one. That was good
Ah,
too. Because I was just looking at the special effects on that one. I was like, whoa,
oh my
that's
gosh! You remember watching the first one
I scared
when
shitless.
oh shit, yeah, when he
I
came
was
out when he
young. I
came
mean, I
out.
had nightmares.
Oh,
I was like,
that is actually the scariest one. The first one when he came down the alleyway and
yeah,
his arms got longer. I was like, damn. But then again, then they sort of shot it. They shot themselves in the foot with the ending, um,
right.
where they took the mom through the door at the end. Now that was pretty bad. Our friend Eric from Hit Internet, it's Eric. He said he talked about that. You can definitely say it was a blow up doll. It's so bad, but it's legendary. All right, so that's what's coming up. That's what's coming up on the 31st. We have the ISC show. I will be hosting it, and we'll be talking about suitable flesh. And I can't wait for that. I'm gonna have an
Thanks
all-star
everybody
panel
for
for that.
tuning in as
Yep.
well. Thanks for giving us your time.
We'll talk to you guys soon, and have a great night. Stay right there for a second, Mindy, and
All
I'm
right.
gonna say I'll say everybody good night and peace.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Reach out if you want.